Good morning and welcome back to Monday Morning Quarterback. Today we're celebrating a 45-22 victory at River Falls from this past Saturday, moving our team to 2-0. The tone was set early and often by our special teams that I think has really made a lot of improvements between week 1 and 2. We did a fantastic job in the kicking game, both the punt game and the kickoff game, which had many reps, pinning them rather deep. And that was led in the punt game by Garrett Maloney, who had a very nice day, again, punting. But also both kickers, Timmy Albright and Griffin Schneider, both of who played scoring points and on kickoffs for us, placing that ball very deep inside the 5-yard line and 3 times in the end zone on kickoffs. In addition, we did clean up some of the issues we had last week with our field goal PAT, and we ended up going 7 for 7 on PATs and field goals. So very happy to see the improvement from week 1 to week 2. Also, tremendous effort throughout all 4 of the major special teams by both Garrett Engelhart and Derek Vider in our coverage game. Very good to see. And our special teams also was highlighted by a very nice return by Kyle Whitley with some very nice blocking on a reverse coming down the sideline and bringing a long return all the way down to the 1-yard line. Defense was an interesting game. Actually, had to try and figure out what exactly they were going to do, being that they had a new coaching staff. We weren't exactly sure, and it was our first game, what they were going to come out in. But the game plan was to put them on some long fields early and force some long drives, and they did have a long drive. They came right out and tried to establish the run and did so on a 20-play drive to open the game. Fortunately for us, it only resulted in 3 points, not 7, as our defense stiffened inside the 5, and we held them to a field goal attempt. But the game plan was to see what they wanted to do, try and get as many plays out there as possible, and then make our corrections and adjustments. So we stayed very basic early on, and I think the defensive coach did a nice job adjusting through the game. The defensive effort was led by a very stalwart game by Tony Dannon, who had 14 tackles, and very nice job with his pressure on the blitzes as well. But also another linebacker that is playing extremely well for us, Harry Patera, who made some tremendous plays and did it throughout the entire course of the game. Our defensive line, I do think, was a winning edge. We actually, on a very hot day, were able to roll a lot of guys in as we normally do. So we actually played throughout the rhythm of the game with 7 and 8 D linemen at many times, which allowed us to keep them fresh and allowed our pass rush and our run-stopping defense to be pretty strong. And one thing we have to clean up on the defensive side is when some of the younger guys got in, our third group and our second group at the end of the game, we did allow 2 touchdowns. And I understand that the game might have been perceived to be in hand at that time, but it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that no matter when you go in the game, we've got to be a little bit more stalwart about stopping the run and getting off the field on 3rd and 4th downs, the final downs. We did not do that, and they added a couple 8 touchdowns. Offensively, also greatly improved from week 1 to week 2. I thought our running attack was a lot more balanced than last week. Overall, it was a much more efficient game plan than last week's was. But probably what makes us the most happiest is that we did have 100% ball security, and I think that allowed us to find our rhythm, especially early in the game. The ground attack was led by Colin Tobin, that had 4 touchdowns and had some very nice blocking up front, but also on 2 long runs was able to make an unblocked man in the open field miss, and led by some nice blocking. The offensive line only allowed 1 sack all day. That was later in the game. 1's too much, but much better than the protection that we had the week before. But a lot of the run game on the edges predominantly was because of the blocking of some of our tight ends, notably Ben Graham and Matt Allen just doing a great job on the edge blocking, and that's what allowed both Colin and Ryan Toney to total about 200 yards on the ground. We also had a couple of quarterback scores as well towards the end of the game, but very happy with how we were able to get in a rhythm and have a very balanced attack from quarter 1 to quarter 4. So we're very happy about the outcome. A lot of improvement from week 1 to 2, and we hope to see that same improvement from week 2 to 3. We hope to see you out on the field at home as we take on St. Olaf next week at 1:10. Have a great week.
Call the university. Hail the Tommies, hearts and hands held apart. We will fight, work, love, and defend the brotherhood until we die.